Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, and today I'm filming a book haul. So the books in this book haul are books that I acquired in the month of June and July, and I have one thing from August. June was my birthday month, so some of these books were bought with like birthday money. I want to say most of these books were bought with like birthday money because I got like a really nice gift card and I still haven't like spent it all, that kind of thing. And most of these were bought at a used bookstore. I also have a Goodwill that's not too far from my house, so that's also a place where I get books. I actually have a few books that are actually brand new, which is kind of different for me. I don't really buy brand new books, that's not my thing. Yeah, I think that's all I have to say. A lot of used books, some new books, mostly fantasy as per usual. So let me just get started. In no order, the first book is Mask of Shadows by Lindsey Miller. I believe this is the author's like debut novel. This is a YA fantasy duology, and we follow a gender fluid character who is auditioning for the role of like the queen's like assassin or something. There's like a competition aspect, and our main character is auditioning for the role. I guess there's some sort of like deadly challenge thing to be part of the queen's assassinary force in order to get revenge against I don't know, the royal family or something. Totally, I don't really know, but yeah, I don't often read characters who are trans or gender fluid or non-binary, and I'm glad to have this book on my shelves now. I also have the 5th season by N.K. Jemison. Super well loved, well respected series. The only thing I really know about this series is that it takes place in a world, or I think it takes place on Earth, where natural disasters pretty much like destroy everything and civilization has to like start all over again, kind of like a new world, a new era, a new Earth type of thing. I also have heard that the writing style is a little difficult to get used to, or it's a little bit different than what most readers are like comfortable with, so I am assuming I'm going to like it as well. I tend to just not necessarily like everything, but I'm the type of reader to like see the good and the worth in like most things, even if it's like not my taste. Yeah, I also picked up The Girls of Paper and Fire by Natasha and Ngan. So this is also a really well liked fantasy YA fantasy series. I believe this is also Sapphic. This is the start of a series. It might be a duology, but this is the first book in the series. We follow a young woman who has been, I don't know if she's been ordered or volunteered or whatever, to be a paper girl, which is essentially, I want to say like the emperor's like concubines or one of his concubines. And I believe she falls in love with another woman, another concubine, and yeah, that's pretty much all I know. I've also heard that the representation or the discussion of like sexual assault and rape is pretty good, so yeah, very excited to get to this one. I also picked up Etiquette and Espionage by Gail Carriger. This is the first in a series that takes place in her Parasol Protectorate universe, which is a kind of like steampunky, paranormal, supernatural, Victorian fantasy. I don't know which era this takes place in because I believe this series is like the earliest in the timeline, but we follow a young woman who is sent to a finishing school. So our main character doesn't know that this school that she's being sent to is not only like a finishing school for like etiquette and dancing and sewing and all that kind of womanly stuff, but it's also a school for, obviously as the title says, espionage. So like doing undercover missions, probably learning how to like kill efficiently, things like that. I'm assuming since this does take place in the Parasol Protectorate world, it's going to also have those paranormal, supernatural elements, but again, I don't know. I have read the first book in that other series and I really enjoyed the author's writing. It's very like witty. So yeah, so in my last video I talked about wanting to read more nonfiction, and I'm trying to read one more nonfiction a month, and I found this book in my used bookstore, and that is Genghis Khan and the Making of the Modern World by Jack Weatherford. I'm assuming from what I can gather of like blurbs and the synopsis is that this is talking about Genghis Khan and the Mongol like empire and how it created this like interconnected world where it had not been at that level before. The back says, in nearly every country the Mongols conquered, they brought an unprecedented rise in cultural communication, expanded trade, and a blossoming of civilization. Vastly more progressive than his European or Asian counterparts, Genghis Khan abolished torture, granted universal religious freedom, and smashed feudal systems of aristocratic privilege. So I'm assuming that this book is going to talk about the importance of Genghis Khan and his empire and how it like pushed at least Asia and Europe to a new like era. Seems really interesting. It's not super long either, so I already knew a little bit about Genghis Khan and his empire from like my university stuff, but I didn't really like focus on that part of the world and that part of history, so I'm kind of like fresh, a little bit new when it comes to this particular subject, but I'm still interested. Obviously, I picked up the book. So this next book has been around for quite a while. I wouldn't necessarily use the word classic, but it has been around the block for a little bit, and I've seen this series on people's shelves, and I want to say it's sci-fi, but I'm not really sure. I don't really know the premise. And that is Gone by Michael Grant. This is a YA series about a group of teenagers who wake up and all the adults are gone. That's pretty much all I know. I know it's kind of a little bit of a lengthier series, like 6-ish books like overall, but it seemed pretty interesting. So I was getting Lord of the Flies kind of vibes, and there's a blurb in the back that mentions Lord of the Flies, so that's all I know really going in. So I also picked up Rogue Wave by Jennifer Donnely. I had read the first book in the series a few months ago now, I think. I wasn't sure if I wanted to continue this series, but I did like the nautical elements overall more than like the author's, the issues that I had with the author's storytelling, so I'm gonna continue it. I didn't even hate the first book at all. It just wasn't, I was just very underwhelmed, but we'll see if like the story picks up well and gets better and better. Recently I have been reading series that have gotten better and better over time. I'm a little more lenient when it comes to like first books in the series. I don't want to quite give up on things really quickly. This is the second book in the Waterfire saga, and in this book we follow a few women, young girls who've been brought together to like help defeat this like ancient evil, that type of things. I also picked up House of Leaves by Mark Z. Danielewski. I have heard so much about this book. I've heard it's super scary, I've heard it's super like well written, but I don't really know what it's about, and I don't really care to like find out the details of it. I want to go in kind of blind. I feel like within the last few months a lot of people have been talking about this book. I mean, not that it's never been talked about before, but like more so in the last few months. I don't know why, but people are, and yeah, so I picked it up. I also got Given to the Sea by Mindy McGinnis. Mindy McGinnis has written one of my favorite like YA like hard-hitting contemporaries, which was The Female of the Species. This is a fantasy, I want to say it's a standalone. So in this book we follow a young woman named Kosa, and I believe her purpose in life is to be sacrificed to the sea to prevent some sort of like natural disaster type of thing. But before she can be sacrificed, I believe she has to like have a child to like follow in her footsteps at some point, but she does have a touch aversion, and that's all I really know. I honestly only picked this up because of the author and how I've liked their previous works. I also picked up The Guest List by Lucy Foley. I've heard so much about this author and her works. So this book is about a group of people who go to this island for a kind of wedding ceremony thing, and I'm getting like Agatha Christie, like And Then There Were None vibes. A group of people go to this secluded place, and I'm assuming a few of them are gonna die and someone's responsible. Don't really know much else other than that. So this next book I picked up at my Goodwill, and that is Frostblood by Elly Blake. So this is the first in the series. I don't know how long the series is. I don't really know anything about this other than what the back is telling me, and I'm getting kind of like some sort of caste system. There's someone at the higher end of that system and someone at the lower end of that system, and one person is probably going to be responsible for like tearing down this like oppressive system. That's usually how these like YA fantasies go. So yeah, those are probably one of my favorite like tropes. I know it's kind of been done pretty much since like what's it called, Red Queen. Yes, it's been done before, but I enjoy those tropes. I'm basic. So these next few books that I'm going to talk about are the books that are like brand new, never been owned, which I don't know why I feel the need to point out that, but I do, because I know it looks like I have a lot of books, and I do, but they're almost always like pre-owned, so I don't know, perspective, I guess. The first book is Dead Dead Girls by Nekesa Afia. So this is a book that's set during the Harlem Renaissance in 1926. In this book we follow a young woman. I believe she works at a speakeasy. There's women that have been like turning up dead, and our main character is somehow connected or knows something or like plays a part in this whole thing. And my character also has a girlfriend, so I'm happy to have another Sapphic book on my shelves, and I just love like a good historical mystery. I don't know if there's like paranormal or supernatural elements. I thought there might have been, but I'm not sure. Either way, I'm still like really excited about this one. So this next book, I've heard like nothing but good things for the longest time, and I feel like only recently, within the last month or two, I've started to see like more critics about the book, because it has already been adapted to a TV show. But like now that the show's been out for like quite some time, I feel like now more people are like speaking about how the book isn't that great, which sucks, as I bought it because I thought the book was great. I haven't read it, so what do I know? But that is Leviathan Wakes by James S.A. Corey. Excuse me. This is the first book in the Expanse series. This is a pretty lengthy sci-fi novel, or sci-fi series. I don't know what overall this is about, but I'm assuming there's some sort of like politic type of thing going on here, space battles, that type of stuff, which I don't get enough of, and I've been saying for like the last few videos that I've been really like on a sci-fi kick, so I picked this up, brand new, so I hope I enjoy it. For some reason I got a free credit at Book of the Month, and I decided to pick up Half Sick of Shadows by Sebastian. Sebastian wrote one of my I wouldn't say favorite, but a YA series that I really enjoyed, which was the what's it called? She wrote the Ash Princess trilogy, which I really like enjoyed. I listened to an audiobook and I loved all the installments. But Half Sick of Shadows is a retelling. I'm not sure if it's YA or adult, but this is a retelling of the Lady of Shalott, who was this woman who was cursed to be in a tower and to like, I think, sew like tapestries or something, and then when she like leaves her tower and tries to go to Camelot, she dies because of the curse or something along those lines. But this is a retelling. That's all I know. And the last book is the only book I've gotten so far in August. I thought I'd just show it to you since it is brand new. It's not like a fictional or non-fiction book. It's actually just a journal with like plain white pages. This is the front. I don't know if the camera will focus, but it's just a regular journal that I'm going to be using to create like scrapbooking stuff. I've been wanting to get into scrapbooking, and I wanted a nice journal to like go with it, and I have already started. I'm not like the best, but I'm like having some fun with it. This is going to be like my scrapbooking bookish journal, so anytime I feel inspired or I want to like show my love creatively for a book that I've flipped before, I'm going to create a spread. I've only done one dedicated spread, and this is for Blood and Chocolate, which was one of my favorite books growing up, so that's what I have here. But yeah, it's just like a plain journal with a kind of leathery cover and with like a Celtic design, so it's really pretty, really like rustic, vintage looking. So those are all the books that I've gone during the months of June and July, and the one thing from August. Let me know if you've read any of these, if you are interested in reading any of these. I'd like to hear anything you have to say in the comments down below. I will link all my socials down below, as well as some far more important links. Feel free to like, comment, or subscribe, or do neither. It's all cool with me. And thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Peace out.